Hey, we were Snipers, this is Tortimer the Gray. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Pokemon Showdown Gray version Season 3. Today we are kicking off our PU tier battles, which was rolled as an evil team encounter. And so we've got, I was going to say we've got an all-new team. We've got a half-new team. As I've said before, I kind of like to keep some thread of continuity. And so Pokemon that I think could still work in a tier or that have done well for me in the past, so on and so forth, I will carry over. So you'll see we've still got Glinda, obviously our starter. We've got Oleander the Gloom. Oleander's been a thorn in your guys' side for a long time, and so I figured, why not? Let's bring Oleander. And then we've got Ridley, our Caracosta, as well as Sentoku, the Scyther. We've got Lol, our Scrafty, and then we've got a Zombination, our Arctozolt. So up against the Aggron here, a Zombination's substitute goes down. The low kick does nothing to the Articuno. We get the Bolt Beak off, and then the Galarian Articuno is going to land the Hurricane. We get confused, we hit ourselves in confusion, and then Articuno is going to finish off the Arctozolt there. Absol then switches in, going to do a hard damage to Ridley. Ridley loses its boots. I get the Shell Smash up, and then we're going to get the Aqua Jet, which is just enough to get Absol into poison range, and Absol goes down. Then Ditto comes in and transforms into Caracosta, finishes off Ridley. Among Us was a bit of a pain in the neck this week. Definitely. Dittos are difficult. I think Scad had a Ditto last episode. She's like, yeah, it's hard to battle yourself sometimes. I gotta start putting moves on all my Pokemon that can take themselves out. Although I guess that wouldn't really help me if I'm also battling myself. Anyway, Glinda then goes up against herself and go down. Just Me, though, I think had a Scarfed Ditto here. I think we'll see that come into play. It's like he wins like every tie, and because Ditto, I think besides the HP stat, fully takes on the stats of its opponent. So yeah, and I was like, how are you winning? But yeah, I think he tells me later after the battle that it was Scarfed. Because yeah, here comes Sentoku, and up against he gets the dual wing bee. Every time Ditto's in, it hits first, which is smart. That's a good Ditto. I've never really I've never really used Ditto, but I do have a half-recorded series where I'm doing like a diddle lock. But anyway, not relevant to today's discussion. Anyway, thank you so much for battling this week. Grunt Just Me, though, as we make our way through our evil team encounter. Let's see what the rest of the Grunts and our admin have in store for us this week. Here we go. Alrighty guys, battle number 2 up against Grunt Arctic Animal, and Mac leads off with his Acelgor. I go ahead and just get the Stone Edge and the Aqua Jet up before he can get anything going there. Zombination has the Volt Absorb, so it doesn't take any damage from the Luxray there. We then get our Blizzard set up, and the special attack is clearly not very good on this thing. I think it is more of a physical attacker, but Zombination, it takes 3 stab super effective Blizzards to finish off this Claydol. Its special defense must be through the roof, and my special defense must be garbage. Lol then switches in, gonna take some hard damage from the Drifloon, get the good knockoff off, and then switch out, letting Ridley come in and be resistant to that damage. Throws up the Phantom Force, which takes it off the field for a turn, and then Ridley comes in with its own knockoff and finishes off the Drifloon. Then Luxray comes back in, Oleander comes in to absorb that. Oleander mostly being used as a sponge this week. A lot of types that Oleander couldn't really help out against a whole lot. Taking a hard knockoff there from the attack boost to Absol. We do get the Leech Seed. I think Leech Seed is a new addition this week. Yeah, because I think last week I had Dazzling Gleam or Moonblast or whatever fairy move that Oleander gets as coverage for the Dragon Gem. So yeah, I think Leech Seed is new. I figured, well, she's bulky. Might as well get a little bit of that going. Maybe she'll have Toxic next week. Who knows? No, I don't even know if Oleander will be on the team next week. I guess we'll see what the role looks like at the end of the episode. Ridley goes down to the Luxray, and that leaves me just with Glinda. Glinda comes in, takes the Wild Charge real hard, and goes down in one hit. Still running the Choice Specs Glinda this episode. I figured we'd try that. I think this is just the second week running of that, so I figured we'd try that. Missed the bulk, to be sure. We've got a handful of bulky Pokemon on the team, but always hurts to see Glinda go down in one hit when she used to be able to absorb those a little better. So anyway, thank you so much for participating this week, Grunt Mac. I greatly appreciate it. Let's jump into the next battle, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty, and here we are up against Grunt Codeman, leading off with Basculin Legion. Really excited. I'm sure you guys, you were all in my Discord, obviously, because that's the only way to participate in this series. But well, I guess those who have participated are all in my Discord. Viewers probably not all in there. But if you didn't see the recent, I think it was part of E3, or maybe no, it was just a random direct. I don't remember. I think it was just a random direct, or Pokemon Presents, or whatever they're calling them now, where they showed some more footage from Legends Arceus, the game coming out in January, and they've got my money already with the the regional variants. That just seems to be my sweet spot. I love seeing refreshes on old Pokemon, and so there's Oleander getting some work in and finishing off Codeman's 4 Pokemon team there. Thank you so much for participating this week, Grunt Codeman. I greatly appreciate it. Let's jump into the next one, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty, guys, here we are up against Grunt Pocket Flygon, leading off with the Quillfish, getting that Intimidate up. Ridley comes in and just sets up the Shell Smash. For whatever reason, I just decided going into this week that I wasn't going to bother with hazards. I think maybe the Dragon Gym and all the Altaria is just getting rid of them. It's like, you know what, let's just go in. People will be expecting hazard setup, so instead we'll just set up stat boosts and just try and get some early game kills. Not that it didn't work. I mean, Ridley, especially considering Ridley's got Sturdy. Even if you guys chose not to throw up hazards and do go for the attack off the jump too, he's still able to get a Shell Smash up, and then unless it's Fake Out or something, which I think somebody was pulling Fake Out. Didn't see a lot of Fake Out this episode. That seems to be a much more of a Little Cup type deal. Doesn't really do enough damage to be worth doing otherwise, but I guess unless you're breaking Sturdies. Glinda then takes a Signal Beam from the Cryogonal. There he goes. I was like, Demon Snowflake. What is this thing called? Cryogonal Unique. Gonna finish Glinda off with the Signal Beam, and then Lol's gonna come in, take a hard Signal Beam. Well, not really. That was a not a hard one. That was a crit, and it barely did anything. Lol starts setting up with the Bulk Up. This is a defensive Scrafty, as I'm sure many of you will have realized throughout the course of doing your battles this week. More of a, not the Moxie set, but the Shed Skin bulky set. I think it has Bulk Up, Knock Off, Drain Punch, and Rest. And with Shed Skin, it can take off its own rest. Yeah, I think it's got like a 30% chance to remove its status or something. Santuku then comes in on the Roselia. Charlie, the Ursaring, going to take a hard dual wing beat and get the body slam up on the Scyther. Scyther able to finish off the Ursaring there, and then finish off the Roselia with a dual wing beat. That dual wing beat does good damage. I think he's Technician, so I think that comes into play too. But yeah, thank you so much for the battle this week, Grunt Flygon. I greatly appreciate it. Let's move into the next battle, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty, guys, here we are up against Grunt ECAT as they lead off with their Alolan Persian, getting the Fake Out. There's the Fake Outs. Getting the Fake Outs off on the Scyther. Scyther starts setting up the Sword Dance, and unfortunately, the Sneasel's going to be faster, and so Scyther going to go down without really accomplishing anything. Lol then comes in. I think I expected the switch there, so I went for the knockoff just to be safe. Obviously, then come back with the Drain Punch, heal back up to full health, finish off the Sneasel. Then the Malamar, this stinking Malamar comes in. Contrary boosts from the superpower, getting it all kinds of power here. Oleander switches into tank a hit and get the Leech Seed up. Knowing that this thing lasts forever, I need to get some chip damage on it. Probably another good reason that Oleander should be running Toxic. Maybe that'll happen if she ever shows back up again. I don't know what the next weeks are gonna hold, so we'll see. Ridley comes in and able to get the Stealth Rock, or the Shell Smash and the Stone Edge to hit. The Aqua Jet not enough through the Reflect to finish off the Malamar as it continues to get boosts going, but Zombination able to come in and finish off. Then the Big Head Persian comes in, misses the Toxic, and I set up the Substitute, but unfortunately it fades immediately. The Low Kick then going to do just not enough, not being stabbed to the bulky Persian to finish it off, continue to taking damage from the Persian until Zombination able to finish it off there. Then this Absol comes in, able to quickly finish off a Zombination. Got the Play Roughs all set up for Lol, and then Glinda, missing her bulk here, goes down once again to a single knockoff. So ECAT and their 4 Pokemon team there really embarrassing me this week. Yeah, just had what they needed. I've got no excuses there. That was embarrassing. So good work this week, ECAT. I greatly appreciate your participation. Let's jump into the next battle, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty guys, here we go up against Grunt Shanosaurus, and leading off with the Staryu there. I lead off with Ridley. I think I led off with Ridley every battle this week. I think the goal was to kind of, is he going to set up rocks or what? And so there we go. Ridley going down to the Staryu, the Matang switching in, Glinda getting the Mystical Fire up, doing pretty decent damage, surviving the Meteor Mash, thankfully. Still not a Fairy type, and able to take down the Matang. Then this bug comes in, starts setting up the Calm Mines, Mystical Fire, doing a little bit of a stat drop there. But then, yeah, the weakness policy ends up helping them out. Glinda then going down, coming in with the knockoff on Santoku, able to do some decent damage, and then eventually able to finish off the Orbeetle. No. Yes? I think so. Zombidation then coming in, finishing off the Staryu, and then the Claydol going to take a Blizzard. This one not as specially defensive as the previous one, I guess. Not going to be a 3-shot, thankfully. Down goes the Claydol, and then the Clefairy comes in, and ooh, we get the freeze. I forgot about that. Zombination gets the freeze there, and then Oleander going to switch in, and we're going to throw up the Sludge Bombs to quickly take out the Fairy type there, leaving Shanosaurus with just the Behemoth. Yes? Yes, that is the... I forget what the previous evolutions is. But then throwing up the Giga Drains and such, I think just because of Oleander's bulk, I wanted to leave her in there. Bring a Zombination, burned and almost dead, worth the switch there. Lol then going to come in, throwing up the knockoffs, getting that Leech Seed damage, deciding, okay, not enough to get through it there, let's go ahead and try bulking up a little bit. And then I think we just go for it here, do decent enough damage. Shun goes for the Shadow Ball, and I think this turn we'll be able to finish off with a knockoff. So there we go. Thank you so much for participating this week, Grunt Shanosaurus. I greatly appreciate it. Let's move into the next battle, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty guys, here we go up against Grunt Updates, and they lead with their Crustle, I lead with Ridley, and take a hard Earthquake there, but still able to get the Shell Smash up and start throwing up the moves. Ridley then goes down on the next turn, leaving the Crustle on the field. Crustle then takes the opportunity to get the rocks up before going down to Oleander. The Centiskorch comes in, doing good damage to Oleander. Go ahead and get the Leech Seed up. And then going to go down, at which point Scyther comes in, gets the dual Wing Beat off, and finishes off the Fire Bug type. Roxy then switches in and throws up the Toxic. Santoku is going to do the dual Wing Beat again, does pretty good damage, and taking that Seismic Toss pretty well. Toxic ticking away, the Miltank switching out as the Cramorant comes in, taking a hard knockoff there and going down before it's able to accomplish anything. Santoku making good use of the time he's got left from the Toxic, and Duncan going to throw up the Wish. Lol switching in, Roxy coming in and going down before the Wish can come in and take effect. So that works out nicely. Trinity then comes in, throws up the Close Combat, and finishes off the Scrafty. Zombination then coming in and also going down to a close combat, and then Glinda coming in and throwing up the Mystical Fire, which was a definite misplay on my behalf. I was like, well, this will be the best win against the Togedemaru, forgetting that Togedemaru had like a 1% health. Not that it would have mattered. Trinity comes in and knocks off, finishing off Glinda once again with a one-shot knockoff on first turn. So not like Glinda would have gotten a shot off on the Absol anyway, but if we had managed to, Mystical Fire probably would not have been the choice to go with. So still a misclick, whether it mattered or not. So yeah, thank you so much, Grunt Update, for your battle this week. I greatly appreciate it. We've got 2 more battles here, so let's jump on over to them, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty guys, here we are up against Grunt Klungar in our final Grunt battle of the week. Ridley sets up the Shell Smash and gets taken down to the Sturdy by the Earth Power. We get the knockoff off on the Savali, but not able to take it down before going down Ridley's self. Then Lol comes in and Fumesy, not Fumesy, Anti-Masker, the Wheezing was obnoxious this week for sure. He was a good pivot switch for any time I had anything. You guys were able to switch into Wheezing, which, hey, more power to you. Wheezing is a good way to go. Klungar had the switch in, was expecting the Psychic on the Wheezing and switched in. I knew he was going to switch in one of his dark types, so I picked Dazzling Gleam instead, and he switched in the Scrafty, which went down in one shot. So that was nice, especially as I've got my own bulky Scrafty. Didn't want to have to deal with one of those, so good to see Scrafty going down there. Lol getting burned here. I start setting up the bulk ups. At this point, I don't really have anybody who's going to have a much better chance of getting through Wheezing. So it's like, well, we might as well just do what we got to do here. Don't want to make a stupid play. So Lol starts setting up some bulk ups here. I think this is where I stopped. 2.5, I think, is as far as I went here. Klungar took the opportunity to throw up some toxic spikes, and I went and sleeped because the Shed Skin had not gotten rid of the burn yet. Really didn't want to start my offensive while hindered by the burn. The Shed Skin does get rid of the sleep pretty quickly there for me, though, and so this turn we'll be able to start doing some work. Lol gets poisoned, and the knockoff comes in. Gets rid of that Black Studge, so at least the Wheezing will not be getting every turn healing a slight bit, at least not offsetting the burn. And then Klungar starts throwing up some Pain Splits here, which is going to give Wheezing a little bit of extra life, but still getting down in the ranges where Lol will be able to eventually take it out. The Sucker Punch coming in and not really doing anything from the Absol, so able to Drain Punch and heal back up there. And then the Palisand comes back in, we get the knockoff there. The Colbur Berry helps out with that a little bit, but Lol's bulky enough at this point that can't really get through it and able to finish off. So thank you so much, Grunt Klungar, for getting here in there at the end of the week. I greatly appreciate your participation, even if it did not go satisfactorily for you. But I always appreciate your participation. So thank you to all of our grunts who participated this week. I greatly appreciate it. Let us jump into our admin battle and see how that goes. Alrighty guys, here we go. And here we are up against Admincad this week, and she leads off with their Clay Doll and Ojama. Not sure what that's a reference to, but Ridley gets the Shell Smash and the knockoff off, and then finishes the Clay Doll with an Aqua Jet. The toxic damage clicking away. The Stone Edge finishing off the switched in Absol, which is very nice. Then Mortarian comes in and going to finish off Ridley. Glinda then switches in, and then Scad switches the Wheezing out to not go down to that. I switch out in face of the Ghost type as Lol comes in to take the Poltergeist. At which point Lol starts doing a little bit of setup, and the Darkest Lariat not really doing much. I think Scad said that was a misclick. Then Tom. Oh, Tom. This is the first bout of battles between Lol and Tom here. You'll have noticed that Tom is on our thumbnail this week, and we will see how that how Tom earned the rightful place on the thumbnail as this battle progresses. We have 100 turns left in this battle, folks. So we've got a 1v1 between Tom and Lol going here. I think eventually we both realize, okay, well, this is going to take forever. And I'm like, all right. So he's recovering. I'm like, all right, forget it. Lol, come out. Turns out Tom is unaware, so all the boosting I was doing with Lol meant nothing because unaware ignores stat boosts or stat changes, I think. Glinda then gets Oleander gets the Leech Seed up on the Fumesy. The Fumesy. It's a Wheezing Tort. It's a Wheezing. The Pokemon itself is not called Fumesy. Glinda then gets paralyzed by the Discharge and then going to go down to the Lantern. At which point Oleander comes in, takes an Ice Beam, able to get the Leech Seed up. Probably would have been better off going for the Giga Drain there, but, you know, guarding against a switch. Wheezing comes in, gets the Pain Split going, and able to get some health back from a Zombination there. The burn going to limit a Zombination's usefulness against the Wheezing, and the Blizzard not going to do much against the Lantern, forget it. Volt Absorb exists for a second there, and heal up the Lantern, so that's helpful. At which point we're back to Lol and Tom, and I'm like, yep, nope, Oleander, come in. Oleander is going to tank a good Earthquake there, get the Giga Drain up. Oleander's got nothing for Weezing, unfortunately, and Weezing does have the Flamethrower, so we, again, go for the Leech Seed there. The Will-O-Wisp misses, and I get the Strength Sap going, which is just going to heal Oleander up, and then I believe that Oleander comes out. No, Moratorium. Not sure what I'm doing here. Oleander's got nothing on Weezing, I guess. Just hoping that the Leech Seed damage will be enough. Santoku then comes in taking the burn. Not going to be helpful there. Go for the Sword Dance to offset that a little bit. Get the dual Wing Beat off, but not going to do much against the Electric-type Lantern there. The Discharge finishing off the site there. At which point Lol comes back in and takes a Scald. Avoiding the burn there, I start setting up a little bit, knowing that Gloom can't really help me on the remaining... Well, Gloom would be helpful against Tom, the Quagsire, but Lantern and Weezing are still there to switch in should Lol come in. So, just going for the bulk ups. I don't think at this point I've realized that I haven't really just like mentally calculated that, oh yeah, the Quagsire is unaware ability, so all of these stat boosts I'm doing mean nothing. It takes a couple of hits here for it to kind of sink in. At some point, I'm like, what is going on with this Quagsire? And then I'm like, oh yeah, don't use them enough to really understand what all that means. Drain Punch helping us back. Quagsire recovering. Lol continuing to set up Saskins. I'm just like, I've got to get through this. Yeah, at this point, I'm like, what even is Quagsire? and Skad's like, he's unaware. I'm like, what does that do? And then we had a whole conversation going. But yeah, now we're max attack, max defense, which, I mean, the defense is helpful. Well, no, is the defense helpful? Does unaware... I guess I don't know. I'm guessing that unaware only relates to damage that Quagsire takes versus damage it does. My guess is the defense is helping me against the Earthquake, but maybe not. Lol might just be super bulky in and of herself, which is certainly true. Getting the knockoff, we're just going back and forth here for a little bit, folks. Stay tuned. But we still do have a couple of other Pokemon on the field, which eventually Skad and I are going to get sick of this back and forth. Here we are, finally sick of it. Oleander comes, and I'm like, all right, Oleander versus Quagsire, that's what I want. But no. Weezing then comes in and going to get the Will-O-Wisp up on Oleander, get the Leech Seed going, and then I think nope, she just goes for the Flamethrower. She just wants Oleander. I think we both realize, okay, this 1v1 is really what it's going to come down to. That's going to be super obnoxious. Let's at least get rid of the rest of these Pokemon. And so that's what we do. Lol comes in and tanks a Discharge from the Lantern, finishing it off, getting a little bit of health back in the process, and then we're back to Lol versus Quagsire, at which point we're going to switch this battle over to Hyper Fast, because we still have 55 turns of this battle to get through. You guys know that in general, in these subscriber challenge things, we kind of have an unspoken rule that stalling is really not a strategy that I want to take part in. Because there were times, and I don't think, maybe not in Gray version, but certainly in some of the other challenge series we've done, maybe it's propped up in Gray version. But if you come in with a strictly stalling strategy, like team-wide, that is what you're looking to do, I generally don't have 20 minutes to do every single battle. And so usually I discourage that, but... So nobody take this as something that you should do in weeks going forward. You will see, and Skad being the admin battle, you could probably predict that it does not necessarily immediately go her way. But also, the intention of Skad's team was not to stall. It just happened that we had a good back and forth there. The matchups of the Pokemon that we had, I couldn't, like, if Oleander could have gotten a Giga Drain off from Quagsire would have just been dead. If Skad had managed to get a Play Rough off on Lol, like, a lot of you guys had no trouble with Lol, and there are a lot of instances where I would maybe not have had any issue with Quagsire, so it just ended up being bad matchups. But literally, this Hyperfast is going nicely. We're on turn 95 of like 111 or something, but so at this point we are just going for struggle. I'm like, I think I'm out of Drain Punches at this point, and I think at this point when I started setting up the bulk ups, I had literally like 3 knockoffs left. So I'm like, all right, I've got to use up some of this other PP so that but we can get to struggle. Luckily for me, I think here we're going to be seeing it real soon. Scad is going to run out of PP and going to start going for the struggle here, which is the only reason, like, if I had hit struggle first, she probably would have won, because we're both so bulky, and struggle is doing way more damage to Tom than it is to Lol, and so there we go. 113 turns on that one. So, yeah, stalling is not a strategy I encourage, but Scad and I had fun with this one just because that was not the plan. Neither of us went in hoping to do that. It's just kind of how it played out. And at any point, one of us could have just been like, all right, let's just end this, and like misplayed just so that it would end. But I think we were having a good back and forth in the chat. It was just like, let's just see where this goes. And so we both played it out to the end, and that's how it came out. So thankful. I'm so glad that Quagsire ran out of PP there, because I literally had like 30 more PP left on Law. It's so many bulk ups and so many rests left to use. So I was glad that even if I had lost that battle, I would have been glad that Quagsire had less PP than me, because yeah, it was already 130 turns. So anyway, that is our admin battle for this week. Thank you so much for participating this week, all you grunts, and especially Admincad for hanging out and doing a fun little battle there. Again, don't want to encourage attempting that in future weeks, but it was fun this one time. So I greatly appreciate everybody's participation this week, and thank you so much again, Admincad. All right, let's jump over to the spreadsheet and see what we've got in store for next week. Alrighty, so looking at the spreadsheet, so we just had an evil team encounter, and so we are in the PU tier. So we did week 1 of PU, which was rival, root trainer, or evil team. We had rolled evil team, but that means that this week we are doing a gym battle. So we're still in the PU tier. This will be our last week of PU, but we have to randomize 1 through 18, and ran between 16. Okay. I'm going to re-roll this. I normally wouldn't do this, but we literally just had an evil team encounter where I think everybody used every dark type that is available in this tier. So just for the sake of your guys' own enjoyment in team building and everything, we're going to re-roll that. 1. Normal types. Okay, well, okay. I think PU's pool is even lighter than like ZU's was, so you guys have fun. I don't think there's really any type we can roll that would be like a great amount of like, oh, exciting things that we can team build with in this particular tier. Because there's so many tiers now, I think each tier's pool is kind of limited, but at least this does not directly overlap with what we just did last week. So we will be doing a PU normal gym this week. So yeah, you guys put together your PU normal teams, and hopefully there will be something interesting for you guys to use there. But again, I honestly, like, as I was doing my own team building, like, there's like 30 Pokemon in the PU tier or something. Like, there's just not a lot in. It's pretty limited. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything we could do that would be better necessarily. So there we go. Normal's what we rolled, and at least it again doesn't directly overlap with what you guys probably put together for evil team this last week. So get your normal PU teams together, and I will see you guys all out there starting Monday morning. Again, no matter when these episodes go up, battles always start the following Monday. Gives us all a couple of days to do team building. I haven't even started thinking about, I mean, obviously it just rolled, so I hadn't even thought one bit about what my team was going to be next week, except for a couple of comments about potentially putting Toxic on Oleander. But yeah, so anyway, guys, if you've not participated yet and you would love to, we'd love to have you. Check the description down below, and you can get hooked up on Pokemon Showdown, the online battle simulator we're using, as well as join my Discord, which is where you can connect with me to actually do the battle. But yeah, anyway, as always, I've been Tortimer the Great, and you guys have been great. Thanks once again to everybody who participated this week and everybody who has been watching and liking and commenting on the videos. Always fun to have that kind of engagement. It's been a while since I've uploaded anything worth engaging on, so nice to have that again as part of this series. But yeah, thank you guys so much once again. I've been Tortimer the Great, and you guys have been great. Have a good one.